And go ahead, Irene.
Our mission, Helping Parents Heal, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting parents whose children have passed. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. Helping Parents Heal goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. Helping Parents Heal affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at this meeting is voluntary. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Discussions here are confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of Helping Parents Heal meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with our children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you could be with us this evening. And thank you, Len, for being here.
Yes, thank you, Len. So Jeff is going to be introducing Len so that you'll know a little bit more about him. Go ahead, Jeff.
This is a very impressive bio. I hope we have time to hear Len's story from him after I finish this. Len is the co-founder and president of the Be Like Brit Foundation. Over the past 10 years, Len has dedicated his life to the children of Haiti at Brit's home in Grand Goave. He started building the orphanage with his son Bernie, nephew Ross, and right-hand man Gama, who is a Haitian American, back at Christmas in 2010. They finished Brit's 19,000 square foot home at the end of 2012. Len made 39 trips from Boston over a 2-year period to supervise the creation of a block factory to make US-style blocks that were compression checked after each trip to ensure a structurally sound building. He also created system and methodologies for the 100+ Haitian employees who helped construct the 19,000 square foot orphanage shaped like the letter B. Brit's home was built with the same seismic standards as San Francisco and was the first certified earthquake-proof structure after the horrific earthquake. It was recognized in the fall of 2013 by Engineering News of Record, an international magazine for engineers around the world. Len and Cheryl Ann wrote their daughter's book, Heartache and Hope in Haiti, the Brittany Gengel story, for which 100% of the profits are donated to Brit's home. Len has never, nor will he ever, take a salary from the Be Like Brit Foundation. His vision is clear: to raise and support the next generation of leaders in Haiti. Len is retired, living in the Blue Ridge Mountains of South Carolina, and travels to Haiti each month to oversee the Haitian operations. Len founded CNS Builders and worked 30 years in the home building business, retiring at the end of 2012 after building 10 neighborhoods and over 350 homes. Len's hobbies are his 2 sons, Richie and Bernie, and his love of black bears that are in his neighborhood at his mountaintop cabin. You can follow along with him at www.blueridgebears.org to see and learn about his family of black bears. And Len can be reached at len@belikebrit.org. That's it. Had the pleasure of meeting Len about a week ago and heard this story, and I think you guys are all going to be very impressed by the love and passion that he has for his daughter and the children and people of Haiti.
Yes, his passion for everything that he does is so evident when you hear him speak. And I'm really excited to have him talk about not only building the orphanage, but about his daughter, Brit, about her personality, about the reasons that she wanted to go to Haiti, and then also about her last wish that was something that you heard about right before she transitioned. Could you maybe tell us about Brit first?
Well, thank you all for having me, and thank you um, especially for that wonderful introduction. I don't deserve it. Um, I love talking about Brit, as most of us love talking about our children. Brittany was a 19-year-old, almost 20, 9 days shy of her 20th birthday. And she went to Len University in Boca Raton. She was a sophomore, and she had she was choosing between social work and communication. She didn't know if she wanted to be the next TV reporter or if she wanted to be a social worker. And I suggested to her she become the next Oprah. So she could combine the two. And her sophomore year at Lynn University, her best friend, Lindsay, had gone to Haiti the year before and really enticed Britt to sign up and go on a trip called the Journey of Hope. And it was actually, a lot of people don't know this, but it was actually a 3-week course at Lynn University. And the course was called Journey of Hope. And the first week they stayed in Florida and they actually studied Haiti, the country, the politics, the religion, all the socioeconomics. And then they went into Haiti. And on the end of the second day in Haiti, at about 4 o'clock, Britt and her roommate, best friend Lindsay, they were staying at the Hotel Montana. And Lindsay said, Britt, do you want to go into the shower first? And Britt said, no, Lindsay, you go ahead. I'm going to call my mother. And she did. And that was the difference between life and death that day for my daughter. And so Lindsay went, took a shower, got ready, went down to the pool, and Britt stayed and jumped into the shower. And at 4:53, the earthquake hit. And it's estimated killed 300,000 Haitian people within 20 seconds. And one of those was my daughter. And Britt was this vivacious 110-pound ball of fire. She just really enjoyed life and really was learning who she was. And as they say, she was finding her voice. And so 36 hours went by after the earthquake, and we got a phone call from the vice president of Lynn University. And his name was Phil Reardon. I'll never forget it. And he said, Len, I want to be very clear. I want you to listen clearly. We've rescued your daughter. She's on a helicopter. She's heading towards the airport. Come down to Florida tonight, and I repeat, you will have your daughter in your arms. So he repeats it a second time for clarity. And of course, I'm on my knees. I'm thanking God. I'm just so joyous. And I'm the youngest of 8 children. And at the time, there were 33 of us in the family. And most of the family was at our house. And we were just so joyous. And we got on a plane. Not only did we get on the plane with our 2 boys, but we got on a plane with every news station in the city of Boston. So 4 news cameras and reporters, and we're gonna go have this great reunion with our daughter, something positive to come out of the Haiti earthquake. And we get down to Lynn University in Boca Raton at about 10 p.m. And the president comes out with his cabinet, and I can see the tears in his eyes. And he takes us into a room, and he said, I don't know how to say this, but we got bad intel, and we don't have your daughter. She's still missing. And not only was it our daughter, but there were 3 other sets of parents that each had their daughters missing. So in all, 2 professors and 4 students, all girls, were missing. 8 survived, thank God. And those 8 made their way to the airport, and which is a whole nother story in itself. And we were left in shock, in disbelief. And the only thing I can say to you, to lose your daughter twice in 48 hours is unfathomable. So I say to folks, Brit left us a gift, and that gift was a text to her mom 3 hours before the earthquake. And she just said how much she loved the kids and how they had so little, but how appreciative they were, and how she wanted to move there after graduation and start an orphanage herself. And that was the gift to us. That gave us a mission. And as her dad, I just felt an obligation. So I know you asked about Brit, and I went a little longer. I'm sorry, Elizabeth, but I just wanted to bring them up, how I joined the club and how we're all in that group that no parent wants to be in. So
Yes, and that's perfect. What you've said so far is just perfect. And it's something that um I think is hard for a lot of us to even understand, because obviously she wasn't on that helicopter. But could you tell us about how long then it did take to be able to find her, and what hoops you had to jump through to be able to get her back um, after this happened at the university?
well, the next morning we had a meeting at the college, the 4 sets of parents and the children of the 2 professors that were missing. And ironically, one of the professors he was middle-aged, late 40s. He lost his wife to cancer, so the 2 children were missing their father. And then Dr. Bruno was divorced, so only his daughters were there as well. So uh, it took about 8 days, with some parents going to the Dominican Republic and actually chartering a helicopter and flying to the Hotel Montana, and also many routes to the airport from the Hotel Montana to see if a helicopter had crashed and the government was lying to us, and so forth and so on. So, but on day 10, or excuse me, uh, I was told we could go into Haiti, and on day 11, I actually went into Haiti. And that was the most horrific scene I had ever witnessed in my life. The carnage and death was so bad, is they would not let us get out of the vehicle without putting Vicks under our nose and putting a mask on. I think it was a prelude for the flu vaccine that was coming, but COVID. But the smell of death was everywhere, witnessing hell on earth and people, and just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. But we actually went to the Hotel Montana, and I was with my U.S. congressman, and we went there, and Brit's room miraculously was still up. She was in the third floor, and she was in the back corner. She had the corner room, and that room was still up, even though 5 stories or 4 stories above had pancaked down. And her drapes were flying outside her window. And being in construction for 30 years, I knew at that moment she was gone. And my only hope, my only hope was to build a relationship with the colonel in charge. And I took out a picture of my daughter and handed it to him and said, Colonel, do you have children? He said, yes, I have 2 daughters and a son. And I said, so you know how I feel? He said, I do. I said, please bring her home. Please let us give her a proper Christian burial. And he took my card with my cell number on it, and he and I started communication. And it took 33 days to recover her body. And so that 33 was very symbolic to us through the design process, which I'll get into in a minute. But in those 33 days, something miraculous happened. And those of you that remember social media back in 2010, Facebook was the wild, wild west. So there were no algorithms, there were no controls. So anybody could type in Len Gengel and find me. And so so many people did, so many so that I accepted like 3,000 people as friends because I would take anything to get information. But what they were doing was getting my address. And in that 33 days, we raised, without asking, without trying, without saying anything, we raised $250,000. And people, because of that text, and because we were on the national news every day for 39 days straight, people just said, make her dream come true, make her wish come true. And as her dad, I just felt an obligation to doing that. So that gets us to Elizabeth. I don't know how much further you want me to go, but that gets us to getting her home, having a proper Christian burial. And as all of you know on this call, just the shock, just the can't breathe, just the heartache is so overwhelming that we just as a family huddled up. So
Well, and you then immediately started building this incredible orphanage. And as you say, the number 33 is very significant. Maybe you can explain how it's built with that B structure
okay.
and how many kids you've helped. And
Mhm.
obviously, the situation, the political situation is still very precarious in Haiti, but these kids are well protected. His son, his 32-year-old son, Bernie, is there and he takes care of the orphanage. But maybe you can tell a little bit about the construction process and how you envisioned the orphanage when you were building it.
Well, when I was there 10 days after the earthquake, I saw everything was, knocked down or in shambles and so forth. So I knew from being in construction and a home builder and a carpenter by trade, I knew that it was going to be a hell of a task to rebuild Haiti. And our family had this money, and we didn't know exactly what to do with it. And so of course, we put it in a bank account, but we didn't have a nonprofit. We didn't, So I had a dear friend that was the principal headmaster and founder son of a private school for kids with ADHD that both of my boys went to. And I asked him to come to the house, and he did, and he never left. He spent about 6 hours with us and helped us form the Be Like Brit Foundation. And it was actually his idea of calling it Be Like Brit. And his name was PJ McDonald. And so PJ was instrumental in helping us form the nonprofit. And so by June, we had a EIN number from the federal government. We were recognized as the Be Like Brit Foundation. And more money was just coming in and people wanting to help and wanting to do things. And we started the process because of PJ with people that helped us with what they call talking points, forming the nonprofit, creating a mission statement, a vision statement, and so forth. And by September 24th of 2010, my son and I, an architect who had volunteered to design the building, and a Haitian pastor from 2 towns over where we live. Those of you that know the Haitian community would know that Boston has the third largest Haitian community in the United States. So there's a lot of Haitian people in Massachusetts. So we went to Haiti for a weekend to look at land. We climbed the mountain and turned and looked at the ocean. We looked north towards the United States, and my son looked at me, who was 18 at the time, and said, "Dad, this is it." And he made the decision that day that this is where he wanted to build Brit's home. And so, as anything in Haiti takes time, we put an offer in on the land, and in Haiti, the laws are very different. A lot of it's based on French law. I don't know if we had that conversation, Elizabeth. So there's a lot of French rule there. And I sat under this mango tree, which is like our apple tree in the United States. And the mango tree is right in the center of the property. And the architect starts drawing design and saying, okay, we're going to have 33 boys and 33 girls that you wanted. We'll design for that. And he starts sketching the rooms. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. He says, Len, what do you envision it looking like? And I said, oh, it's going to be a B for Brit. And he just looked at me. He said, a B for Brit. And those of you in any construction industry know that builders and architects fight all the time. And I make a joke that the architect and I had our first fight under the mango tree on September 24th because he did not want to draw a B for Brittany. He had other ideas. And so, long story short, the next day at breakfast, he looked at me. He said, I was up all night. I figured it out. We can do the B, and this is how we'll do it. And he did it. And so there's a lot of symbolism in the design, meaning that there are 6 missionary rooms for people to come down, and those are named after the 4 girls and the 2 professors that passed. And then there are 8 columns in the living area, we call it, of that area, and those 8 columns are symbolic for the 8 that survived. And in 2015, 5 years after the earthquake, after our daughters died, I invited the parents down and the children down, and with their permission, we dedicated, excuse me, we dedicated the rooms to their children and to their parents that day. And so that was a beautiful thing. So if you ever come visit us when Haiti gets straightened out, you'll see the rooms you stay in are named after the 4 daughters and 2 dads that were the professors at Brit's home. So moving along quickly, it took 2 years to build Brit's home. We started December 24th. We flew into Haiti. I had filled a box truck with 2 of everything. I felt like Noah's Ark, except it was 2 tools of every single thing I needed to build the orphanage. And that's what we did. I went down with my son, Bernie. My youngest son was only 14 or 15 at the time. And we spent the next 2 years building Brit's home with hundreds of volunteers and 100 Haitian employees at all times, 6 days a week for 2 years. And I share with all of you the best question ever asked to me after we were done Brit's home was 4 years later in 2014. The Greenville, South Carolina newspaper, who interviewed me on my way to Haiti with the box truck. Before we started construction, we had to ship the box truck in a month before. And the woman saw me 4 years later at a fundraiser my good friend was having for us. And she asked me, she said, "Len, what happened in Haiti that you didn't expect? And, did it have a profound impact on you?" And it's really the first time someone asked me that question. And it made me think for a minute and spontaneously just came out of my mouth that, like most Americans, we go to a third world country thinking we're going to help them, when in essence, it was Haiti that helped me and my family. And that was a beautiful moment. That was something so beautiful for us to realize that. So even though we have 66 children, almost 100 staff, between 90 and 100, depending on the time of the year, where other than my son, who is an owner, we are a total Haitian-run orphanage. Our programming for raising the children comes from us. We have a 41-page document that my sister, who was a 40-year child psychologist, she chaired the committee. And we had a massive group of about 9 professionals in the child rearing industry serve on the committee. And in the 2 years I was building the orphanage, they developed the 41-page, plan on how to raise the kids. And so that was the greatest challenge. In 2 years, 2 years of building the orphanage, on January 5th, 2013, we had our dedication. And we brought in 71 of Brit's family, friends, and school friends. So from kindergarten to college, we had people who were in her life. And because we had this 19,000 square foot orphanage, symbolic of her 19 years, because we had this orphanage that could sleep 100, we had all 71 stay in the orphanage. And we had a wonderful weekend, a beautiful dedication ceremony. We're ecumenical, which basically means we encompass all Judeo-Christian faiths. We do not get funding from any religious organizations. We're totally a grassroots effort, and that was done on purpose. We did not want we did not want to be how can I say, controlled nicely by religious organizations. So that was January 5th, 6th, and 7th. And people flew from Boston, Newark, New Jersey, and Miami, Florida, and we all converged on Haiti. And then on January 21st, our first child, Shasha, came into Brit's home. And Shasha was a peanut. He was so malnutritioned. His hair was yellow, which is a sure sign. And his first words to me, Mwen Grand Goave, which is, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And that little boy changed our lives forever. And today he is 14 years old, a strapping 5'8". And when I look at him, I still see Brit. I still see her smile. And so he changed our lives. And then over the next 2 years, I stayed back and forth, of course, from Boston. And we brought in 65 more children, 33 boys and 33 girls, and created a staff, put systems in place, trainings upon trainings, because we're dealing with a third world country that does not believe in children's rights. So they hit children with swatches in Haiti or any type of whipping stick that they can pull out of the ground. And we don't allow corporal punishment at Brit's home. And so we face many challenges with staff. And so that probably is my greatest challenge as Papi Len and somebody who oversees the running of Brit's home. Because we call it culture clash. And so that is one of our greatest challenges today. Besides the government of Haiti, and besides there is none, and the gangs are ruling Port-au-Prince. So, but to finish at least the building and dedication, and it took 2 years to fill Brit's home. But by December of 2014, Katiana was our last child, a girl, Katiana, and she came in and she completed us. And from there, it has been a life journey for the last 10 years. So we started bringing kids in 12 years ago and finished bringing them in 10 years ago. And today, as I speak to you, we have 10 of the second generation of leaders who are age 2 to 5, who we started bringing in because we wouldn't break up a family. So we have many older children who are 18 and above that do not live at Brit's home, but live next door in a college-style dormitory that I built 3 years ago. And so we have 14 children over 18 living there. So we're keeping this next generation who are being raised by the first generation. And so it's very enjoyable as a parent. It's enjoyable to see.
It is beautiful. And I wanted to just let people know that given the fact that everyone sees all of the terrible mayhem on the news, that Brit's home is located a little bit south of Port-au-Prince. So it's not in the same area where all of the violence is happening. Is that right?
Yes, and this is Haiti, North Haiti. Port-au-Prince is where the thumb and the finger come together, and we're about 2 hours south. So
Yeah.
thank God for that, as we are not in the violent area. Thank God.
Although you've experienced a lot of different things building the home and not speaking French initially, um, also not being a Haitian citizen, you had to become a Haitian citizen to buy
Yes.
land there, as well as transportation issues. There are just so many different things, so many obstacles that you had to overcome. Maybe you could tell us that night that you were about to fly out after I think you'd finished the construction, you were with your son and one of the builders,
The
and with
architect.
the architect.
You really want me to tell the rat story?
I don't know. I thought it was absolutely amazing. It gave me a good idea of what you guys were going through every single day that you were
Uh,
building this place. And
we
that was, I
uh,
didn't realize until you told us that story. So,
yeah. Well, we rented a room at a guest house that, was being built after the earthquake, and the pastor that lived a couple towns from us away, it was his guest house. So uh we had poured concrete. It took 24, excuse me, we had planned it would take 24 hours to pour the concrete on the roof. Realize the building is 148 feet long and it's 84 feet deep. So it's a massive building, and you have to pour the roof all at once. And the concrete plant is in Port-au-Prince, 2 hours away. So for months, we put the request in. There's one pump, concrete pumping machine in the whole country of Haiti. Long story short, we set it up for 4th of July weekend, 2012. Started on a Friday, ended on a Sunday, and after I think it was 60 hours, where we're just comatose. We go to bed. The architect, we're all in the same room. The architect gets up to go pee, and sure enough, there's a rat in the bathroom. He screams. So I'm laughing at him, telling him there's rats everywhere. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. We all go back to sleep. Well, I start having a dream that there's a big rat on my head, and I wake up to getting bit by that same rat on my forehead, right above my forehead. And I grab it and throw it against the wall. It goes under my son's bed and over towards the architect, and everybody's yelling. And finally, we calm down, and I stand up, take the sheet, wrap my head around it, and said, "All right, let's all go back to bed." And as I'm laying on my side, I look, and my son's foot is sticking out of his sheet because he's got it wrapped around his head. And I got the devil in me sometimes. So I sneak over and pinch his toe, and he screams bloody murder and jumps up, and I'm hysterical laughing. And we had that moment. And so I said, okay, 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 we're all gonna go back to bed. We got a 6 a.m. We gotta leave at 6 a.m. for an 8:30 flight. We gotta, blah blah blah. And so I go back to bed. I got the sheet over my head. I'm not more than a half hour, and that rat came back and went right up my back and tried to bite my head again. So with that, I threw the sheet in the air, looked at my son, said, "Come on, we're going to the pickup truck." And we literally went to the pickup truck and slept in the truck that night. So we faced many challenges in Haiti, but that was
yes.
that
But
was one we'll never forget. And yes, I did go get a rabies shot when I got home. I already had the tetanus shot, so I was okay. But
well,
many challenges along the way.
I'm just so amazed by all the challenges, but I'm also incredibly amazed at the videos that you have on the Be Like Brit site, because these kids are all speaking English, which obviously you've taught them English,
Mhm.
and they speak French as well, or Creole as
Yeah,
well.
3
Um,
languages, yes.
but it's really beautiful to see that you have been able to teach them this, because initially you were thinking that you were wanting to send them to college in the States, but with the situation being as precarious as it is, they'll be
Mhm.
going to college in Haiti. And this is paid for through Be Like Brit as well, which is amazing. So you have one girl who wants to be an attorney, is that right?
Diplomat, that's her. She needs to go to law school to be a diplomat. But this year, this June, and I love talking about the success, right? So this June will be our first graduating class. And in Haiti, you have to take a national exam. But 4 of our girls, it's all female, 4 of our girls will be graduating this June, and all 4 have the academic capabilities to go to college and will be going to college in Haiti for their desired choice. And they'll actually be going to Haiti in the south of Haiti. The third largest city is called La Caille, and they have an American university down there. So all 4 will be going to college. So we're very excited about that. But the biggest issue, and I thank you, Elizabeth, for reminding me, the biggest issue for Be Like Brit and our children is to create a career path where they can make money. And so in Haiti right now, the gangs control 90% of Port-au-Prince, which means they cut the telecommunication wires, they cut the power to the towers and antennas. They basically have shut down the country. And we saw this coming, and thanks to a guy by the name of Elon Musk and his beautiful Starlink satellite antennas, we don't need the internet from Port-au-Prince. We are all set, and we have Starlink. So our kids have the internet. We also have, and I say this very frequently, people will ask about the weather in Haiti. I said, I never check it. It's always sunny and hot. There's 2 things for sure. There's 2 things for sure in Haiti, that you will always have sunshine and you will always have poverty. So those are the 2 constants that we know about Haiti. So we have 150 solar panels on both sets of roofs. Actually, the third, we have Brits Academy, which is the third building I built for a guest house, which never has become a guest house. It's become Brits Academy. So we have solar panels. We have 100 on the main Brits home, and then we have like 25 and 25 on the other 2 buildings. So we are totally off the grid, and we have 260 kilowatt, 60 kW generators, diesel generators. And so our only issue and our only dependency is on that diesel fuel, which by God's grace we've been able to have. So anyway, I would like to get to the future of our kids so you know what our plan is. From the day they walked into Brit's home, they have been taught English. And the reason for that is our vision, our family's vision is to have our children work on a global stage, whether it be for companies like Fiverr, and you can look that up. It's FIVERR. For $5, you can hire somebody on Fiverr to do many, many types of service businesses. And so our kids, where the average wage is $4 a day in Haiti, if you can find a job, uh, our kids can make a fairly good living making US dollars while living in Haiti and creating a middle class. And they're able to do that by speaking fluent English. So that's very important to us. And that's very important to the success of our kids and creating a middle class in Haiti, because there's the bourgeois and there's the impoverished. And so there's really nobody in between. And so that is our goal, that is our vision, and that's what we hope to see our children do in the future.
That's wonderful. I know that Britt is extremely proud of you, and I know that you feel it all the time.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if you could tell us about some of the signs that she's sent you to tell you how proud she is of you, Len.
I was sharing the other night when we got together. I'm out in Arizona, by the way. I'm up where because we can't go into Haiti because of the war going on in Port-au-Prince. My son is literally stuck there. Um, but we are traveling across country in an RV. And first time, we've been doing it for 4 months and enjoying life. And so I was telling and sharing the other night, um, I'm sorry, what was I sharing the other night? I just lost it.
Was it the wedding? Is that what you were talking about?
Okay. Britt coming to us, Britt coming to us, and she's only come to me twice in actual dreams, I should say. I've seen her, felt her many times in Haiti, but twice in a dream. And the first time, she was in the first restaurant I had ever eaten in as a child. She was sitting there, and I rushed over to her and I said, "You okay, Britt? You okay?" And she smirked and she just went like this to look across the table, and she's sitting there having lunch with Jesus. So that was just like freaked me right out. It made me so happy. I was so warm, and oh, it just made me feel so well. And I'm sure a lot of you have had those types of moments. But and then a second time, my brother-in-law had died uh, in the house next door, and we were trying to resuscitate him. And my youngest son was going to High Point University in North Carolina for his orientation. So my sister held off on the wake for 4 or 5 days so I could take him. And long story short, while we were in North Carolina, Britt and my brother-in-law came to me. Um, and so that's the only 2 times that I have dreamt about Britt. But I feel her when I'm in Haiti. I feel her an awful lot, and especially through some of the kids as well. So
Well,
anyway,
I
thank
have
you
to
for
tell a
asking the
story.
question.
I have to tell a story too. Morgan transitioned um, on October 20th of 2009. Britt transitioned on January 12th of 2010. And right after she transitioned, and I already felt that this was true, we went to a medium located in Camp Verde, where obviously Len is right now. That's a coincidence, though. We didn't plan this at all. And when I went to see her, um, she told me that Morgan transitioned to be able to help children and animals from Haiti who were transitioning over, because he spoke fluent French and he was such a great cheerleader for all of these kids. And I could just imagine him and Britt being really good friends at that point. Also, Britt's number is 66, actually 33 plus 33. 66 is a very significant number for Britt. And Morgan's football number his jersey was retired, was 66, which is kind of an unusual number. And so I'm sure that there are no coincidences. And oh, I see Joe McQuillan is on here. Another wonderful dad, also from Massachusetts. Len, you're from Massachusetts. I mean, Joe, you're
Yeah.
from Massachusetts. Yes. So Joe, if you'd like to unmute, maybe you could just say a little bit about yourself. He's one of our speakers. He speaks.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi
Thanks.
there.
I was sitting in line at McDonald's when I got your text, so I thought it
Oh,
was I was hoping I'd be able to join it. So thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I 2016 or 2016 January 3rd, I lost a boy in a canoe accident, and actually started an entirely other path. I figured if my son was somewhere, I wanted to find out what that was and where he was. And if it was all new age nonsense, I wanted to cross it off the list. And 8 years later, I'm still pursuing a connection on the other side with my boy. At least twice a month, we have a spirit session together at 3 o'clock in the morning, and involve myself with wonderful people like here Helping Parents Heal. And I often wondered why God saved me. I'm 38 years sober and a bit of a wild guy growing up. And it was only this last round around the track that I figured out that God wanted me to spread the message that, our kids are still here, and just takes a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of faith. And I'm just delighted to be with you guys. Wrote a couple of books. Been delighted to be able to speak at wonderful places like Helping Parents Heal. And I live my life 2 ways now. One is to please my God, and the other is to make my son proud. So thanks for letting me join.
Joe, where are you from?
I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, as you can see.
See the Kelly 12, yeah.
Right, yeah. I've been in Chicago, the North Shore of Chicago, for almost 3 decades now, but so still a Buffalo boy at heart, blue collar kid at heart.
Okay, well, nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
well, and Joe is a huge part of Helping Parents Heal, but he's also someone who obviously didn't ever have any of these signs or any idea that he would ever have signs from his son, Chris, before Chris's transition. And he's one of the biggest advocates for these signs. And he's written 2 incredible books as well. But speaking of books, I just want to say that this is the book that was written by Len and his wife, Cheryl Ann. And it is, all of the profits from this book go to, or all the proceeds go to Brit's home. And I'm just so impressed that you're still able to do this in spite of everything that's going on in Haiti. You are still taking care of these kids. They're probably some of the best well taken care of kids in Haiti right now. And I am just so sure that Brit is very, very proud of you. And one of the things that stands out to me is that you had to go through this terrible waiting period and be able to experience so much hardship while you were over in Haiti. But that phrase, that sentence that you just said midway through this presentation, that Haiti gave back so much more and helped you so much more than you ever helped Haiti. I just think it's so beautiful, and it's, to me, so true. It's true.
It is true. Yeah.
To help others helps us as well. And I was just going to ask Jeff, did you have any questions for Len based on our conversation?
No questions. It's just, Irene pointed out something that I think you pointed out to me Elizabeth, which was there were some similarities in both of our kids were the ultimate outcome was unknown for a period of about a month. And but we were in Frankfurt, Germany, and Len's in Haiti. And it's just staggering to think about what Len and his group have accomplished. It would have been a monumental undertaking if it were in a developed country. But to think about all of the things you had to learn and all the things you had to do, I have to be politically correct here, shortcuts, the Haiti's known for, a lot of things, a lot of not nice things, but for you to be kind of remote for a while, but trying to figure out the lay of the land, to figure out how to accomplish what you needed to do to build the plant, to build the bricks, to bring it up to code, and all of these things that you had to learn to do on the fly. Now, granted, you came from a construction background, so you had a leg up on most people trying to do that. But no questions. I just wanted to point out again how amazing it was that you were able to do that and are continuing to do that in a country where it's not easy to get anything done. And I think you're to be commended for your past efforts and all of the great things you're going to do going forward. So it's an amazing story.
And all of the great things the kids are going to do going forward too. It's pretty amazing what they're going to do in Brit's name. And we thank you for that, Len. Thank you for sharing this with us as well. And again, I'm sorry about my voice. It's terrible to have a hoarse voice like this. Irene, did you want to say anything?
I just wanted to say thank you. And Brit sounds so much like my daughter, Carly. Carly went to Boston College and led service trips to the oldest African American Catholic school in Mississippi. And when she was there, she said it changed her life and she knew what she wanted to do. And we have a foundation that has supported that school. And what you're doing is so inspirational. I just looked at your website. I made a donation. Thank you for what you're doing. It's just beautiful. And it's a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yes, it's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on at such short notice, and have a wonderful time in Sedona.
I think he has something he wants to add, Elizabeth.
Yes, okay.
I just want to thank all of you and to all the other parents out there. Thank you. Thank you for listening and being a part of our journey. And whether it's Brittany or your son or daughter, they all matter. And today, every day, with the fentanyl crisis going on in this country, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to know the pain and suffering that these parents are going through. And, I just pray for all of you and hope to God, that we're all together again, sharing our journey and being part of this great energy that moves around this world. So I thank you all and thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. We will be together soon, and with our kids as well. And
I hope the bears are there too.
On the bear. By the way,
they're going to come out of hibernation early this year, Jeff.
they have 12 bears that live behind them on a playground that he built for them, and on a vortex. They live on a vortex on the Continental Divide. So
in a rainforest. I didn't even know it was a rainforest when I bought it. 98 inches of rain a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, for anybody interested in more information on that, the website is, now I did go to college on it and got a communications degree. So it's not W. It's not W. It's W. So the address is www.blueridgebears.org. Is that correct, Len?
Yes, and enjoy.
Okay. All right.
Enjoy our beautiful bears. And they're not called bears in the South. You got to say bears. I retired.
Bears?
It's bears. I retired there in 2017. So and bought the land in 2016. I knew I was on the Eastern Continental Divide because the road in South Carolina is called Continental Divide Road. And then in North Carolina, it's Weatherby Lane. So, and I'm 600 feet from the North Carolina line. So anyway, so that's how I know I live on the Eastern Continental Divide.
In
And all those
Well,
bears were there, and they all come to visit every day.
and they feed them, and they feed them by hand, in fact, which is
Oh, don't listen, don't let my wife's secret out. She'll get arrested.
yeah, sorry.
well,
Anyway,
yes.
thank you. You guys are welcome to unmute if you'd like to and say thank you. And we will see you soon. We're going to see you tomorrow night. But thank you all for being here. We appreciate
Yes, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Len.
Len.
Thank you
So
so
Appreciate
nice
it.
to
much.
meet
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Good night.
Great to
Thank
see
you.
everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
You,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye,
Have a good night.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for letting me intrude at the end.
Thank you. Oh, it was wonderful. Take care. Bye, everyone.